The Chiefs just made their wide receiver signing, and it's a great pickup for them. The Chiefs signed Hollywood Brown on a one-year deal worth up to $11 million. This is so good for them because MVS was getting paid that last season, and when they released him, they freed up that $11 million, so you're basically trading MVS for Marquise Brown. MVS came up clutch in every playoff run he was a part of with the Chiefs. You can't take that away from him regardless of what people like to say about him, but trading him for Hollywood Brown essentially is a steal. Marquise Brown elevates his offense a ton, making the receiver group way deeper than last year. This is already the best receiving group Mahomes has had since Tyreek Hill has left, and you already expect them to draft the receiver in the first round, so that as well will add to this offense a ton. Last year, the Cardinals were inconsistent with their quarterback and didn't have Kyle Murray until late in the season, and he also had some injuries, but I believe when you pair him up with a quarterback like Mahomes, it will only elevate his game. Marquise Brown played with Josh Dobbs, Murray, Lamar Jackson. There's no doubt Mahomes is by far the better quarterback. Hollywood Brown recorded 574 yards on 51 receptions and 4 touchdowns in a year with an inconsistent starting quarterbacks for the Cardinals last season. That already clears him as the number 3 receiver on the Chiefs if you put that up with the Chiefs receivers last year. Justin Watson was the 3rd best receiver in receiving yards for the Chiefs last year under Kelsey Rasheed Rice with 460 yards. Marquise Brown with Mahomes is going to boost his stats even more and could potentially see another 1,000 yard season for him. He had one in 2021 with the Ravens with 1,008 yards and 6 touchdowns. This will be exciting to see since Patrick Mahomes will now have another threat to his arsenal. Hollywood Brown could be a number 1 or 2 option for a lot of teams in the NFL, and I see him as being a huge advantage spreading the field for Travis and Rasheed as well. I can see Marquise being a number 1 option over Rasheed when it comes to receivers, but it's hard to tell honestly because I expect Rasheed to elevate his game a ton this upcoming season. The Chiefs bringing in Irv Smith Jr. helps out a ton as well when it comes to the depth of this Chiefs offense, raising the floor to their tight end group, which was lacking. This offense in Kansas City is already a lot better than last year's, and I would say than the previous year as well, since they could potentially be drafting a Donnie Mitchell or Xavier Worthy in this year's draft. The Chiefs have made the right decisions when it comes to bringing back the core pieces to the defense as well, especially when it comes to bringing underrated guys like Dana and Pennell and Winchester. The Chiefs lost some pieces when Tommy Townsend and Willie Gay left, but they were able to fill in those pieces right away. It also helps out a ton when they draft for this purpose as well, to develop a lot of these younger guys to be able to fill in these gaps. This is the best receiver we've seen with Mahomes since Tyreek has left, so making the Chiefs offense a threat to other teams already makes it a huge difference than last year. Last season, the Chiefs led the league in drops and was being talked about as a mediocre team, a one-and-done team in the playoffs. Now Mahomes isn't the same. The Chiefs offense hurt it all this whole entire year for how they underperformed, but now with the signings they made and will continue to make will clear the narrative going into next season. Signing him for $11 million also makes it very possible for them to keep L'Jarius Sneed and have him play on the tag. This gives them another year to figure out a contract for him similar to what was done with Chris Jones. Bringing Sneed back would be the cherry on top for the Chiefs offseason going into this three-peat hunt. The Chiefs have the opportunity to cement themselves in history, and they're making all the right moves to do so. Over Marquise Brown's 5-year career, he has averaged 728 yards for 62 receptions and 5.6 touchdowns. I'm taking that any day over Justin Watson and MVS if I'm Chiefs fans. I don't care. Marquise Brown moves the needle for this Chiefs offense a ton. When you have a guy who ran a 4.27 and you pair him up with his quickness with the Andy Reid schemes and Mahomes as his quarterback, I promise you that's going to elevate his stats even more, especially if they can bring back L'Jarius Sneed. This Chiefs team has a very high chance of actually completing this three-peat that has never been done before. Like I already mentioned, they're bringing back the core pieces of this defense and bringing back the key pieces that they need in order to get this three-peat. Like bringing back Chris Jones was one of the best things they could have done, especially for a 5-year contract. I don't care how much he needed, you pay him however much that is. And the deal ended up being $150 million or so, I believe. He's worth that every single time. Aaron Donald was a legend to the game, but even he proved why having a defensive tackle like him or Chris Jones is important to any defense and any team in general if you want to win championships. This Chiefs defense is still going to be scary, especially if they can keep the best cornerback duo in the league with Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. They shut out every team's top receiver last year. The Chiefs offense just got so much better than last year's. Rasheed Rice, Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, hopefully Xavier Worthy if they can draft him. But this Chiefs offense now has a ton of potential, and Mahomes has the best offense he's had in a very long time. And with them not having to pay so much for a wide receiver, this saves them cap space when it comes to bringing back guys like L'Jarius Sneed. But next offseason, the Chiefs have a ton of free agents like Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, Trent McDuffie. These are all players that they need on their team and have to figure out paying. So it was a very smart signing Marquise Brown for $11 million for only 1 year. If they want to extend him next year, we'll see about that when it comes to that. But Marquise Brown moves the needle for this Chiefs offense when comparing it to last year's. In the tight end room and the wide receiver room, they have depth now. This Chiefs team last year led the league in drops like I've said, and that this year won't happen again. again, two different players. As obvious that may sound, but Marquise Brown actually is a good playmaker. So is Kadarius Toney, but Kadarius Toney drops a lot of careless passes. I had a lot of faith in Kadarius Toney, but now bringing in Marquise Brown helps out this team a ton. Kadarius Toney can still be used on punt returns too. I still think he's a good player, and I still think he can improve. But from what we saw last year, going on the Instagram Live, being a healthy scratch of the Super Bowl, I just think the Chiefs need to move on from him already, and I think doing this signing helps out already in this situation. And some people may even be questioning if the Chiefs will even draft a wide receiver in the first round now or just focus on defense. I mean, because honestly, like I said, they already have a better offense than last season, so why do they even need a receiver in the first round? It would be nice to add another weapon to Mahomes' offense, but I mean, if they could add to this defense, like another tackle, somebody on the offensive line, that would help out this Chiefs team a ton. It makes sense why they would focus on defense in this year's draft now instead of going on offense, since they have filled in a lot of these gaps. Let me know what you think the Chiefs will be doing in the draft. There's a lot of different things that they could do. I know Brett Veach and the rest of the offense will do a good job since they draft so well consistently. Drafting a wide receiver in the first round will spread the field a whole bunch for Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce a ton. I still personally think the Chiefs should go for a wide receiver in the first round just to help out Mahomes and his arsenal. Drafting a wide receiver in the first round will keep adding to the depth of this offense, and you want to put the fear in other teams like this Chiefs team used to. When the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and had the #1 offense in the league, defenses feared that team. This team was putting up 40, 30 points. They made it look easy in 2020 and 2021. You know, the last few years it was a little rough with this receiving core, but they still got the job done. Now, if you give Mahomes consistent and good weapons again, and they go out there and actually make plays like they're supposed to, and the defense stays hungry and stays ready, this is the best chance to a three-peat you're going to get. This team has the chance to cement themselves in NFL history. We keep talking about it, but they are doing the right moves to do so. They already have separated themselves in any NFL team, but doing all the moves that they have been, keeping the defense intact, bringing in a quick, proven wide receiver. Brett Veach and the front office are cooking, and they know exactly what they are doing. Last offseason, it was rumored Marquise Brown had interest in going to the Chiefs, and they wanted to have him on the team, but no deal was done. The fact that they put that in their back pocket and circled back around to him when he was available shows that they see something in him. Marquise Brown has shown when he has a good quarterback, he can make plays. That's why when you pair him with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, this is just going to elevate his game even more. I'm going to predict he has way more than 1,000 receiving yards next season. It could potentially have close to 10 touchdowns. Yes, 10. But I think he could finish with at least 5. The ceiling being 10, though. Marquise Brown statistically hasn't had the best wide receiver season. I think last year he was rated in the 60s for best receiver out of all the receivers in the NFL. But again, he had so many quarterback issues with his team last year. Marquise Brown has showed, though, in college in Oklahoma and his time in the NFL with the Ravens and the Cardinals, that he's a good receiver. He makes the right plays. He's fast. Like I said, he ran a 4.27. Like, he's quick. The Chiefs have a very fast offense and love adding quick pieces to this team. So I can't say enough. Mahomes is just going to elevate his career even more, pushing him to be a better player game after game.